that's really one of the problems that got with the whole COVID-19. It's, Newton's laws of motion, an object in motion or in rest will tend to stay in motion and rest unless acted on by an outside unbalanced force. That's science. That holds up all the way out into the universe until you start getting into Einstein's relativity and stuff like that. But here on this chunk of rock, no, that's science. This is how this works. We know that this is how this works. Epidemiology is more like astrology. It's like, I consulted with my epidemiologist, and their best guess is that this is what's going on. But there's 150 epidemiologists who all disagree with them on that. And these are the people that we're looking to for answers. And it's like, you might as well be asking them to give you a shopping alert. It's like, no, you're okay shopping between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the afternoon today, but only for food and gas. Because that's all that they know is they ran their astrology chart, and that's what it told them. But if you went and talked to another astrologer, they'll tell you something completely opposite. Because it's not a science. It's this is what we believe. These are our theories. It could be this, or it could be this over here. This could be the reason that more black people get it than white people. This could be the reason that the north of Italy is a basket case and the south of Italy isn't. This could be a reason. This is why people are asymptomatic. It's like, okay, let's take that set of facts and we'll all write science fiction stories about it and try and figure out who wrote the best science fiction story about COVID-19. Because that's what you're doing. You're writing science fiction story. Because unless it's like Newton's law of motion, it's not a science. It's it could be this, it could be that, it could be this thing over here. Not terribly different from theology. Now, I'm happy to explain my theology to people if they're interested, which most of the time they're not. But the rest of the time, I read John's Gospel aloud and start putting the pieces together as I see them and going, oh, I think this is related to this. This thing hinges on that. But it's we have to dismantle the entire Catholic Church, and everybody has to believe what I believe. It's like, well, first of all, that's not going to happen, and second of all, it probably wouldn't work very well, which is why I tend to individualize my theology. Okay, let's get back to the Cerebus stuff, where Weishaupt and Steering, boy, this is really tough to read on the facts. But they both...
It's the bit about the ascension when Cerebus is talking to Tarim, and Tarim tells him that Weishaupt and Surin found the same passage in the same obscure text on the same day, thousands of miles apart.
Right. And that's just me making a point about what actual knowledge is. You would need to have that level of omniscience and connectivity with everyone and everything, which I presuppose God has, to say, how about that? It's that is definitely how God's clockwork mechanism works, where really, really inexplicable gears grind with other gears, thousands and thousands of miles apart. And God's the only one that knows that happened, because God's the only one who has the overview of that. I didn't realize that was what I was talking about at the time, but that's what I was talking about at the time. And then when you say, did the artist chap with air find it on the same day too? What about Henrod, the Magic King, the Roach, Elrod, Astoria, and Necron? Possibly. They could have found it in an interesting sequence where if you plotted an exponential curve, 2 becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16, miles away, and suddenly it flares in exactly that pattern, but 200 times the size at this specific point later on in history. Well, okay, that's another part of God's clockwork mechanism, is that did that there and that does that over there because that's what that does. That's what God designed that. That looks chaotic. I'm sure hydrogen and helium